and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another session with Cafe Without Borders. And here we are here with Ms. Najla Hassan. Ms. Najla Hassan is an educational consultant and transformational leader in education with over 2 decades of experience designing, managing, and delivering impactful learning experiences at the executive and higher education levels. Her expertise lies in the intersection of instructional design, leadership development, and academic program strategy. So she has been leading the program design unit at American University of Cairo's, and she was there at executive education. Previously, as a associate director of non-degree programs, she successfully oversaw 6 educational diplomas tracks across 2 campuses. She managed partnerships, she led recruitment and evaluation efforts, and advised over 300 students. She is also a seasoned instructor and mentor, known for empowering educators and learners through thoughtful guidance, strategic planning, and research-driven practices. So she also believes that she has been able to bridge gaps in access to quality education and leveraging design and technology to make learning more engaging. So we are here with another expert in another wonderful session that we are having in November 2025. So the stage over to you, Ms. Najla.
Thank you, Faiz, for the introduction. Appreciate it. So, hello, everyone, and good evening from Egypt. The session today is on blended learning, and we're going to zoom in on the instructor's perspective. So, just very quickly, some housekeeping at the beginning. I would appreciate if you open your cameras because teaching online is sometimes lonely. So I'd like to see you. Of course, you'll be on the mute mode, but this will not stop you from adding your insights, using the chat because we're going to use the chat and interacting together, and of course emojis. And keep your questions till the end, kindly asking you to do so. And of course, I would like you to keep your smartphones handy next to you because we're going to use Mentimeter at one point for interaction in order to make it more interactive. Let me start by warming up and asking you, and kindly add your answers in the chat. When did you hear, or let me say it, who learned something recently using multimedia, YouTube, podcast? Just write what if you have done that currently. Okay. Like to get some answers. Another question is, okay, do you prefer in-person workshops? Who mixes both online and face-to-face in teaching? If you have done any of these, then congratulations, you're actually already practicing blended learning in your daily lives. And today, I don't need to introduce myself again because Faiz did that really well. So thank you, Faiz, again. So jumping onto the agenda, we are going today to focus on blended learning. And blended learning is actually pretty much the new norm in higher education. And although it is everywhere, now getting it right is a massive challenge to all people who are involved, institutes, as well as teachers, and sometimes even students. So today I'm trying to demystify blended learning, its evolution, its definition, its success factors, or the success recipe from researchers and experienced instructors or experts in the field of blended learning. The first thing is the definition of blended learning. So I would like to put everyone on the same page. The definition of blended learning in itself is problematic, and to understand it, we need to see the evolution of blended learning, what happened through the years, and what made blended learning like the norm now, or the future maybe as well. So the definition of blended learning is to be explained by first having a look at its evolution. So when did you hear about the blended learning? Can you just give me a date? When did you use it? Just a date. How many years ago? So to many, blended learning is actually a new term. And some people say it started during the pandemic. Well, this is not the right evolution or the right start of blended learning. Blended learning has evolved. And we can say that the evolution of the blended learning occurred across 4 eras. Each era has signature milestone. So the first era, which is between 1980s and 1990s, it was preceded by the distance learning in 1980s. The distance learning where universities emailed, were actually not emailed, they sent packages to students learning in different countries, and they established the learning outside the traditional classroom. So then came in 1980s the emergence of the computer assisted instruction and the first wave of the educational technology, where we have universities again using, and teachers using computer labs, teaching machines to supplement the traditional instruction with digital tutorials and drills, setting the stage for the future of blended learning. In the 1990s, the rise of the internet and the learning management systems, that was a big milestone that led to the birth of online enhanced courses. Before the 1999, the term did not exist actually. In 1999, the term first appeared in an EPIC press release. And since then, blended learning came to be known as the mix of technology as well as face-to-face traditional classrooms. So it has been there since 1999. And not many people know this. In the second era, this was the definition. It started formalizing, taking shape. What is it? What its definition? Okay, what are the theoretical framework behind this educational new concept? So the definition till that in this period was actually mixed. Then came the third era, where the blended learning became institutionalized. So many universities used it. There were degrees offered in blended formats. And the concept started to take another shape, which taking into consideration the quality of learning and the factors that lead to success. So this institutionalization made blended learning became part of the strategy of any institution using it. And finally, we have the peak, which is, as you guessed, all of you, the pandemic. The pandemic actually, and we all know that it's not something new. The pandemic triggered a sudden large-scale shift to remote and hybrid learning, reinforcing blended learning's centrality in higher education. So, and then moving on, we don't know what will happen next, like, because AI is now taking the lead, and maybe it will change also how blended learning is happening. So this introduction and quick background will lead us to understand why the definition of blended learning is problematic. Because and this is not me saying it, but the research. There was a meta-analysis, meta-research that indicated that was carried out in 2019, carried out by Rastinsky. And in this research, they indicated that actually blended learning is still up to this moment an ambiguity, and there is no one main universal definition that can describe blended learning. Any type of blend between face-to-face and online, any aspects coming together, this is called blended learning. So, but then there are a couple of definitions that are highly referenced by researchers. One of which I chose here because I believe it's very comprehensive and it's not ambiguous like the others, is provided by Graham. It's standard reference in the field, where Graham says that blended learning systems combine face-to-face instruction with computer-mediated instruction. In this approach, both the development and the delivery of instruction are key components of the blended learning system. So, and a successful blend in the learning environment in a formal education setting combines the best features of in-class and online learning. This definition is very special because it highlights a lot of important aspects related to blended learning. The first thing, it's a system. It's not just mixing technology and putting technology, aspects of the technology and face-to-face, and then we have a course. It's deliberate, it's structured, it is actually helped and supported by an ecosystem. An institution itself should have policies, should have a system for implementation. The design and the development of the course has to be intentional and deliberate, which considering the outcomes, which outcomes are best done online, which outcomes are to be fulfilled face-to-face. So it's not just mixing technology and mixing the face-to-face sessions. So this definition is key when we come to, and it solves a lot of problem for researchers, because when you have an ambiguous concept, it's very difficult to do your research. So Graham emphasized the importance of structure and the deliberate design and development of curriculum to provide quality learning, as well as the environment. So it's like an ecosystem, as I said, enriching learning environments that leverage both modalities. For blended learning, there are a lot of models, and I'm not gonna I'll just quickly pinpoint the commonly adopted models by institutions. There is the rotational, and the rotational is like basically mostly it's face-to-face, and one of the methods used in the rotational is the flipped classroom. And many teachers do not know that when they are doing the flipped classroom, they are actually actually following blended learning. There's the flex model, which is basically online is the backbone of this model, and directing students to offline activities where the percentage is like 70 to 85% that online, and the rest is face-to-face activities. The enriched virtual model, which is used in many universities as well, is having an induction period where the students and the teachers, they meet face-to-face. There's an introduction to the course and to the assignment. Some introductory sessions are held, and then the rest of the course is online. And there is the a la carte model, which is basically online with some facilitated activities happening in centers or in institutions. So these are the models. I'm sure by now that you need some engagement and activities. So since we're discussing the concept and knowing about its definition and model, let's just check a few things, because there are many misconceptions about blended learning, and we're going to use Mentimeter to do that. So kindly scan the code, and let us see the questions. Okay. If you have a problem with the QR code, please let me know.
Can I please request you to share the web link as well, if
Oh, sure.
available?
I'll put it in the chat. Here you go.
Thank you for doing that.
Does that help?
Yeah, I'm
So
holding
the
on to the website.
yes, I can see that. The first question, okay, if it's easier to use the chat, then fine, no problem. Let me just, okay. So the first question, can you see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So first question is actually, okay, great. So am I pronouncing it's Pankaj? Is
Yes,
that,
thank you.
Pankaj? Okay, so let me share the questions on, here we go. The first question is blended learning means replacing teachers with online material. It's not really, it's a myth. It's not really a fact because the teacher has a very important role to play in blended learning, the preparation, material that are put online, the discussion, maybe the grading. So it's a myth. It's not a fact. The second question is, students in blended learning always perform better than in traditional classes. What do you think? Is it a myth or a fact? Fact. Okay, it depends, and we'll see why. There are factors that can lead to that, and other factors that can actually lead to the failure of blended learning. Teachers play a minimal role in blended learning since most of the work is done online. What do you think? It's a myth because the teachers, they always complain about the load of work when they do blended. Okay. Blended learning can improve learners' engagement and motivation when done correctly. That's a condition. What do you think? That's a fact. It's a fact. According to research, actually the engagement increases and the motivation increases if, again, it depends if and when it's done properly. And finally, the last question. In blended learning, students can control some aspects of their learning. For instance, the space and time. What do you think? Yes, for sure. It is a fact. They can control a lot of aspects in the learning. It's not a myth because they can access material at their own, in their own place, at their own time, and they are very comfortable because they are not being rushed, and they have their pace taken into consideration. So this is again a fact. You can help students and you can provide them with more flexibility, and we'll see that in the benefits of when we discuss the benefits of of blended learning. Okay, back to the presentation. I hope you can see the presentation. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. So as we check the myth and the facts about blended learning, it gives us an idea of the benefits of blended learning. So among these benefits that are empirically proven by research is the flexibility. Even after COVID, to our surprise, when we returned back to our institutions, we found out that the students prefer this blended format for flexibility, for commuting, for being able to check the material at their own pace, in their own place and time. So flexibility, which leads to another thing, leads to autonomy, the empowerment of the leaders, which is very much important when it comes to adult learning and higher education. So people feel more in control when to check the material, when to study, when to prepare for things, as well as it develops the skill of self-regulation. Because if self-regulation is a key success factor on the side of the student and the participants. Another benefit is that blended learning develops the activities carried out when using blended learning are actually increasing and developing the practice of the 21st century skills, and of course the technology skills of the students. There is a lot of discussion happening now about blended learning and personalization, and how blended learning analytics can help with personalizing education and meeting the needs of the students. And the last thing, there are many, of course, many benefits other than that, but these are the core and they are the proven ones. The last one is blended learning, if actually implemented and carried out correctly, it leads to better achievement, to a more success rates. It decreases the dropout ratios and percentages. So these are basically the evidence-based findings from empirical research about the benefits. However, these benefits are conditional. So there are drawbacks, of course, if the factors of success are not there. So blended learning can fail and can lose a lot of its benefits if some factors are not there or are not realized. So in the chat, what do you think are the recipe for success? What does blended learning need in order to succeed and raise the achievement and achieve all the benefits? What do you think? What are the factors that leads to the success? Okay. So the main factors of success, check the answers. Yes, Jack, I thank you very much. The blended learning benefits also utilization of resources and creation of learning spaces. Yes. Smart objectives, of course, applying smart objectives. Learners have interaction with face-to-face instructors and online sources. That's very true. So the factors using the various models of learning, yes. So the first factor is the quality instructional design. As we said, the design itself should be intentional, deliberate, and it's not just mixing and putting apps without looking at the outcomes, as you have mentioned on the chat. or the objectives of the course, and aligning them well to the activities, and deciding on which ones are carried best online and which ones are carried best face to face, because I have seen a lot of people making no distinction. So this is my course, I'll teach it online same way, I'll have some sessions face to face, but they are not actually being deliberate or choosing which ones that are the most effective to be carried out online or face to face. So this alignment between the activities, the modality, as well as the assessment is key. The design of the curriculum itself should be intentional, keeping blended learning format in mind. Of course, as we said, the intentionally connecting the model to the curriculum, and we have to have an adequate technology infrastructure, access, internet facilities. If you're going to teach some of the sessions on Zoom, then your institution or you should be providing a professional Zoom account, for example. This is one of the things, in order not to cut it, to have like a 2-hour session that is cut into halves, providing people with new links and so on and so forth. So adequate technology infrastructure, the faculty mindset and skills, the pedagogy of the faculty, as well as how they think of blended learning. And finally, the students' digital literacy and access. So we need to make sure as well that the students are able and capable of using the technology, and they understand what blended learning is and why we're doing this. So this has to be kept into consideration. That's why when institutions consider using blended learning, they have to look at these factors and to plan for them. It's part of their strategy. Now, let me ask you, in your opinion, which one of these factors, of course they are very important, all of them, but which one of these factors is most crucial, critical to the success of blended learning? For sure, the types of, I agree, of course. And it has to do with, yes.
If I would say, it would be, student digital literacy and access. I think that, changes with the type of learners you have. For example, if you have the school level learners to, undergraduate and postgraduate learners, for them to engage themselves in a blended classroom, lecture hall, they should know how much information they could extract from the online resources, which require certain kind of competencies and prior experiences. So that's what, my thoughts are.
I agree 100%. And many institutions, they have like a training or a training happening, training for the students before they start their journey. And it's very important that we know a type of the students that are enrolled in our courses, to provide the adequate support and training for them, for sure. Yes, thank you for this contribution. Okay, Kalel. Blended class and lecture hall creates different learning spaces. Yes. Which is from among these factors, which one do you think is critical? It's really important. Which one? Okay, so as we said, they are all important. However, that's one, but the most critical is the faculty mindset and the skills, because they are the implementers, they are the orchestrators, they are the ones, not only the implementers, they are also the designers who put the curriculum and decide on the alignment and which courses, which sessions will be online, and what material will be online, and what and when will they meet with their students. So the faculty mindset, which recently has been a point of attention of researchers, the educators who implement the blended learning and who design it. And it is in one of the research, I quote here, the teachers are actually at the heart of the educational change. So if we want to implement any change, if we want to succeed with blended learning, then we have to pay attention to the teacher and to the instructor. I can see, Lamia, your hand is raised.
Thank you so much, Nagla, for everything you said. It's so to the point. But sometimes when I read all of that or listen to all of that, sometimes my brain, I cannot stop it from going more critical or putting myself in the shoes of teachers. Okay.
Yes.
Because I have data, okay, from a prior paper that we did together, me and other three scholars. There is some panic. How can we address that in terms of, so teachers, for example, they believe in the importance of blended learning, technology, and all of that. But they have a little panic here stopping them to be the heart of all education change, like exactly the words that you said here, which is they feel that this technology and the future of AI, because this technology leading to this AI, like let's say being everywhere, they might replace the roles. And
Yes.
this is making them all the time to be resistant to the change because they wanted to keep their positions.
It's true.
So
It's a fear. It's
yeah,
a fear, and it did not, and actually it increased with AI.
yeah.
Yes, not with blended learning. Maybe the instructors are kind of starting to accept blended learning because it has been there for a long time. But AI, the fear increased.
Yes.
It's very, very true. But then we have to understand that this is the future and there is no stopping it. And AI or blended learning or these kind of technologies, they are here to stay. And most of the research now are indicating that there is the teacher cannot be replaced. The teacher still has a very important role to play.
Yes.
So and even in AI, even not only in the field of education and other fields, the idea is focusing now on the co-creation or how humans can take the best out of these machines or out of these forms in order to save their time, be more effective, more efficient, to help people, to help the students. Like when we said personalized learning is now, it has been there all the time, differentiation and personalizing learning, but with technology, it is now possible. With big data analytics, with it is possible. So we have to accept that technology is there. It's not going to replace us, but it can help us do a better job. And
Yeah,
this is part of the mindset of the teachers. So the
yeah.
teachers, and let me finish this part
Okay.
because actually this part is focusing on the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
which is addressing the point that you have mentioned right now.
Mm-hmm.
So researchers and experts and even the teachers who have been teaching or using blended learning for a very long time, they indicate that the mindset affects, of course, the behavior and the attitude. And there are two types of mindsets, like the fork in the road. So there are the hesitant adapters and the adaptive innovators. The hesitant adapters, they have attributes in the mindset itself has blockages. We call them the mal attributes that stop them from embracing the change, and they are actually four things that can stop them. The first thing is when thinking that you are the center of learning. It's a pedagogical belief. I'm here to provide the content. I'm the only source of the content provider. So this kind of thinking stops them from looking at the potentials in the technology. So that's one of the things. The other thing, and when I have the handle the content, then the students simply must accept that. This is one type of thinking. Another attribute is some of the instructors in higher education believe that teaching comes second, and that research is their main job. This is another thing. So teaching is not and providing this quality experience with interaction and activities is not the first priority. This is another thing that stops them from accepting or exploring the new tools. Or a blurred vision of blended learning. So they don't really understand what blended learning is. I'll put all my content online, or I'll use as many apps as I want, or I'll just I'll use it. It's a time saver. I can just upload things and they can study from them. So these are things also the mind. This kind of thinking stops them from doing a good job when it comes to blended learning. And finally, the fear. The anxiety, which you have mentioned, anxiety from technology taking their place, or not finding a job in the end. So, and this kind of fear is very deep. It's a big concern, and it's acknowledged. So what we will do, the only thing that I can say to this anxiety is we need to embrace technology because it's happening, and we need to know that we cannot be replaced by machines. So on the other side, if we reflect, we'll see that the adapters of the blended learning, they have a completely different mindset, which is like it's like a paradox. It's like the opposite, the other face of the coin, where they think that teaching is central, in contrast to we are the center. Students are central, realizing a need for change, realizing a problem that they are facing in their teaching, like a big number of students in their class, or that students stop being engaged in their classes. So there are problems in the face-to-face and in the traditional, and technology can help with that. So those who dare to adopt blended learning and other forms of technology, they have this open mind, or the growth mindset, which make them realize that we have problems in our teaching and in our classes that blended learning, or maybe AI, which is not the main focus today, can help us with, and can enable us to provide a better and a more quality experience for our learners. And they dare to experiment and fail. So they try new things until they find the right combination and the right portion of what to be put online and what to be face-to-face. So Pankaj, I'm sorry for butchering your name. You raised your hand.
Well, you can continue now. I can ask that later. Is something pertaining to you just explained.
Okay. So, as we said, those teachers who are successful in implementing blended learning, they have a mindset of growth that is student-centered, and they have realized that they are reflective as well, because they know that they have problems which can be actually overcome by technology, and they dare to speak up to their colleagues about the problems that they are facing and to ask for support and help. So it's not a shame that I don't know how to use this app, or I don't know how to implement it in my course, or how can I use. So they ask for support from their institutions, from their colleagues, and they dare to experiment, and they can accept that sometimes technology fails us sometimes, and sometimes we do things and we prepare for it, but then something happened that is unexpected, and we fail, but we never stop and we try again. That's the growth mindset. And of course, Another thing, the last point when it comes to the successful implementers of blended learning is knowing and understanding that they are creating something. It's not just dumping material or just adding apps or just, but they are actually creating. So it becomes like a smooth transition between the online and the face-to-face, where things flow naturally, and the students they feel comfortable about what they are doing. So this is the kind of mindset that is open to change, and if cultivated, then it leads to the successful implementation of blended learning. As we can see, they are the opposite, but there is hope that these mindsets, the mindset can always change, can be cultivated, it can be developed. We can provide support in order to change this mindset. So it's not about labeling teachers that are good or that are bad. It's about understanding how we can help teachers, how institutions or we colleagues can help teachers who are still afraid from blended learning, using it, from technology, from AI. So providing them with this psychological safety and explaining the idea of co-creation and the opportunities that we can find in new technologies, this is key to make this anxiety go away. And focusing we focus on the students' feedback when we do something creative and we help them. Definitely, the feedback will be positive. So this is another thing that can make the hesitant adopters change to the growth mindset and to innovation. And finally, it's very important that professional development and reflection is key part in professional in training the teachers. So whenever we prepare a training program or we plan for professional development, we have to have this reflection moments where teachers can speak freely about how they feel, and they can exchange experiences and ideas together, as well as provide this clear understanding of how to succeed and what is blended learning. Because as we saw, there are many fallacies related to blended learning, and there are many wrong conceptions that up to this moment teachers believe they are true and they are facts. And I would like to share this with you. It's like a diagram for institutions to think about when they are planning to use blended learning and to implement it. We have the institutions, they address the core beliefs of teachers, and they give them this safety and they give them this confidence and this professional development. This is key. As well as the institution itself has to have a culture of safety and a culture of experimentation where failing is actually embraced or is accepted. It is not penalized. And we have to build the essential competencies when it comes to pedagogy and how to blend both modalities together. And I can just conclude with one thing. Teachers do not accept anything that is forced on them. They don't. And if it's a belief, they have a belief inside of them, it has to be discussed. It has to be brought to the surface in order to be able to change it and to be able to adopt new ideas. And this is the end of my presentation. These are the references. Thank you very much, and looking forward to hearing from you. Yes.
May I?
Yes, sure.
Wonderful session. Thank you, Ms. Najla. Thank you so much. So Ms. Najla is here. If anybody have any, if you have any questions, she's here to answer.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for such a wonderful session and very engaging as well. I'm coming back to in the slide where you showed the faculty mindset and skills are the utmost important factor, which, is in every form of, teaching, right? So it's very important for faculty to have a mindset which resonates with the topic, with the classroom. Now, then what is something very different the faculty mindset and the faculty skills bring to the blended learning? Because the only, additional thing in the blended learning is the, resources used, the online resources which you have, mentioned. So what does the, mindset is very different in a traditional one to a blended learning environment?
Okay, so the difference that it makes is, sorry, is there anyone saying something? Okay. The way I see it, as we said, if if you have resistance and you have beliefs that blended learning is not gonna add anything to the students, and we're just adding material and using technology without intentionally looking at the benefits behind the what we are doing and and how it will improve the quality of the learning experience, then we can do anything and it's blended. So if you're not convinced about, I have seen instructors who are using blended learning because the institution asked them to use blended learning, but they hate it, and that's why the courses are not engaging, and the things that they are doing online with the students are not as effective as they should be. They are just dumping some material or some videos or some readings, but for example, those who understand that blended learning is not just putting material, they can create activities like the discussion forums, extending the discussion beyond the classroom, understanding that this can enhance ideas and lead to collaboration. So they are practicing also the skills, the 21st century skills, collaboration. This is one thing. So they can make good use of technology, and they use which apps to use, and they choose the apps to use that serve their outcome. So they are convinced that these technologies can bring quality to what they are doing, and they are deliberately and intentionally using the apps and blending the courses to get the best results, which is different, totally different from those who just do it because they are asked to do it, and those who misunderstand what is blended learning. They think it's just using technology or just dumping material. So that's the difference which I saw. The being convinced of the benefits and the problems that can be solved with blended learning is key to providing quality learning. Yes,
No,
Lamia.
that makes sense. And I would just like to add, I was myself using blended learning in my college classes. I was teaching, and I could see really a difference in the biology, courses. The blended learning was more effective than in comparison to my chemistry courses, which was more, there was blended, approaches, but it was more like problem-based learning approaches, which didn't recreate some aspects of blended learning, but to like a micro level.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Lamia, you raised your hand?
Yeah, I have something that I want to ask about because it's some of the challenges that I myself face. So as being a student, when having blended learning in the format of we are all in the class, but we are using technology as a tool of helping us or making us more active, it's so effective. Okay. And it makes, I cannot deny that it makes even the environment of the teach, like the class environment itself, more active, more vibrant because we are using tools to help us rather than just staying listening to lectures. It's more about involvement. But even when wearing the hat of the teacher, okay, some format of blended learning, and even whether students or teachers, some cases students are not able to be in person. So we are asked to have them coming online. So you have portion of your class, some of them attending in person, while others attending online. I feel so much. It's hard to stay focused with the two lines of thoughts here, how to address the challenges and the needs of those on the board online, and at the same time, those in front of me seated, because I feel it's somehow so hard because you all the time will be focused with some of them, maybe the more in person in front of you. And in many cases, you will miss the questions of those who are on the board.
All the time. All the time, yes. And this what
How we solve this problem?
all the time. No, but I'll tell you what I know from what I read, okay? And I did not try this. And I know how difficult it is to have this. This is called high flex. So you are having some of the students on campus and with you in class, and the others are online, right? And one of the interesting things that I read was to have a lesson plan, and it had a very nice format, and I can share the template with you, that where you have intentionally, as we said, being deliberate and intentional is key. And planning in this case is very important. What are you going to do with the students who are online? How can they engage with the students who are in class? And in addition, so there is a template, a plan that you can, like an outline that you can do before you go into class. So counting in and taking into consideration that those students should work in groups and they should share as well, and they should be involved and engaged, and we have to listen to them. So that's one thing. Another thing, it's a skill that can be developed. That's another thing. So you can always use the chat, and you can have to look at the chat all the time. You have to see what others are saying. The third thing is you being a technology, you know how to share the PowerPoint presentation, how to have, and sometimes it's the classroom being prepared, the facilitation, where you have a big screen that shows all the students, and where you control and you can see the chat, and you can, so it's not one thing that you can do, it's like three things that are combined together: the planning, which is key, and the technology, knowing it and keeping an eye, and the engagement, which is keeping an eye on what's happening. And it's not easy. It comes by practice. It's never easy. I've attended as a student a high flex class, and it wasn't that good.
Yeah, I attended as well, and I tried it all the time. It's hard to address the needs of those who are online more
Right.
than those in person, because in person they keep on the discussion and the talk. So we are most of the time you are giving them more attention, and you forget that those who are online, they are putting their comments in the chat. So it's hard to keep that. And another level of the question, do you think it's better, based on your readings as well, it's better when having group discussion, or like say group work, should we put those in line with those in person by putting our computers or laptops on their desks, by having them as
Yes.
staying there?
Yes, it's one of the tips. It's combining, you have the students in class should have their laptops, and they are working with the students online. So the groups are not totally online or totally face to face. So that's one of the tips that was provided, is to have them both working together, and to have the group work happening not separately but together.
Thank you, Nicole.
And I agree with what you're saying. And I never wish to teach a high flex class, by the way.
So hard.
It's so hard. But my colleagues said that it can be, you practice it. It's keeping those online in mind and planning for their engagement prior to the session.
Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, dear. Galal?
Thank you for a great session. I wanted
Thank
to
you.
ask, with universities and schools becoming more and more expensive and AI being there, would that mean that they will end up one day, schools and universities? Why should people go and pay so much when they can do it through AI without paying all that money?
I wonder. No one can answer your question, by the way, because it has to do with it's the future. And anyone who says that they know the future or what would happen or how work will look like in the future, they are definitely not being honest. It's I have no answer to this question.
The future is
The
not the
only
way.
thing, the only thing that I can say is the role of the teacher is extremely important, not in providing the content, but in facilitating, especially for the undergrads or the people who are in the schools still. The teacher cannot be replaced, and that's, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe something happens with AI and things change. But this is my personal opinion that teachers are crucial, and they are not content distributors, but they are more of facilitators, and they have lots of skills that they can facilitate learning. Scaffolding is one of them. So, so far, I'm not sure what will happen. And it's a very valid question. Why would people pay a lot of money if they can get it in a cheaper and more effective way? But I don't have the crystal ball.
I have two quotations. One from the guru of marketing, Philip Kotler, who said, if you're in the same business in the coming 5 years, you'll be out of business. Innovate or evaporate. And before that as well, a great baseball American player said, the future is not the way it used to be, long before AI. Another one is qui docet discit, he who teaches learns.
I agree 100% with your quotes, but I see them that they do not answer your question. I see that they emphasize my point that we have to have a growth mindset, and we have to always be open to change and to technology, because it's there, it's part of our lives. Whether there won't be a need for teachers in the future or no need to go to schools, I'm not sure about that. That was your question. That was your question. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Igala, for your question and for the comment. Thank you. Okay. So, any other questions? I'd like to thank you so much for attending the session. I hope it was beneficial and it clarified a few things related to blended learning, especially tracing its evolving nature and its definition related to quality and the mindset that leads to its success. We can never say that teachers will not be there in the future. Because they play a crucial role when it comes to learning and teaching. And thank you very much. Have a lovely day or evening. Bye.
Thank you so much, Nagla, for this wonderful presentation. And I'm sure that everyone benefited today from your knowledge. And looking forward for any feedback in the future. We will share your presentation, and I think that everyone will have your email right now, and anyone wanted to reach out to you. I know so much Nagla, so how far she is so helpful and supportive. I think that she will reply and sharing with everyone. So since we concluded today's session, we would like to thank you again, Nagla, and thank everyone who showed up today and everyone who's going to interact later on in our platforms. And for our coming sessions, we have still a lot of coming sessions in December, Jan, and Feb, and everyone who feels that he wanted to present or to be part of this community are more than welcome to moderate, to present, to come up with your insights and to share here in this, let's say, in our community. Thank you. Thank you, Nagla, again, and have a lovely day, whether it's morning or night, anywhere around the world.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you.